like 2 days of the transfer window left. I know we're all fed up with it. I think we're just talking about it. But where are we at with it?
Um, well, the truth is we're absolutely nowhere at the moment. That's all I can tell you. It's massively frustrating. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. You know, we've had. I was just trying to tot up before I come to speak to you there. We've had 11 strikers that we've discussed to bring in on loan, that for different reasons have fallen through. We've had 4 strikers who we've actually made an offer for, and with the bits and pieces we're looking at transfer fees that would be more than we've paid out as a football club in the history. So we are trying, but there's nothing to come. There's no information that I can give you. We're not in the throes of signing anybody at the moment. There's still things going on. We've got till 12 o'clock on Friday if we want them involved on Saturday. We've got it till 11 o'clock on Friday night if we want them for the first part of this season. And we're going to keep going till that point. I'm not going to make any promises because we have been so frustrated with it, probably like everybody else has, all the supporters, everybody who's looking at it. But I can assure everybody it's not through a lack of trying. It's not because we don't want to. It's not because the directors don't want to spend the money. We can't get anybody in, and that's the top and bottom of it. But we're going to keep going until the window closes, and we've just got to wait and see.
Of those 15 that you've just mentioned, are any still alive, or have all of those gone? Are you looking elsewhere?
No, some are still alive. Yeah. We had another one fell through this morning, but there are still a couple of things that are alive. The problem that we have is that we're in the same market as everybody else. Everybody's looking for that player who's the target man. You know, you look through every league, and that's what everybody's looking for. Spoke to a championship club this morning about another player in a different position, because I'm sort of trying to get things in place just in case any of ours leave the club. This championship club are looking for a striker, and it just seems as though everybody is. So we're no different, and it's a challenge for us. It really is. I've got to be honest. I've been quite not shocked, but really surprised at the jump in the finances, from going from League 2 to this level. It's huge jump. As I sit here now, I don't honestly know how teams can afford it, but I don't have their books. I don't know what they do. I know what we can afford. I know how fantastic our supporters are coming in and turning up in the numbers, which obviously has the knock-on effect for our financial fair play budget. So I don't know how they can afford it. Maybe time will tell, maybe they can't.
What reasons are we looking at here, Paul? Is it what we always hear about location? Is it finances, or is it a mix of all sorts?
No, it's a mix of all sorts. The location is one, because when you've got a player who's wanted by 3 or 4 clubs, they're going to go closer to home. That's just human nature. We're trying to sell the club to them at the moment. We're trying to encourage them to come. We're trying to say that this could be a place for you to progress your career, whether that be in terms of a development player, whether that's in terms of a more senior player who's hit a bit of a brick wall at the current club they're at. We're saying we'll give you that opportunity. Sadly, we've lost out on the one so far, and we've just got to hope that one drops. But you know, the truth is, if they don't, we've got to go with what we've got, and there's no point bleating about it. We've stepped up to another level, and we are trying to be competitive at the next level, and it isn't going to happen overnight. We've all seen that. We're not there yet. We're not there at the moment. It's as simple as that, and we've got to make sure we keep doing the right things. And all I can say is that it's really difficult when you're in this position. It's tough, but you have to keep going. You know, it's a great challenge to have. I think it's really easy for me to say stick together when you're winning and you're top of the table and we're going to Wembley and everything's all nice and rosy, and it's easy to stick together then. This is when we need to stick together. This is when we need to have a bit of calmness about us, a bit of a level head, so that we don't start all being daft about it. Everybody starts to have their opinions, and everybody thinks that the manager's wrong in everything that I do, and I get it. That's football. Let's just be calm about it. Let's stick together, and let's make sure that we keep working as hard as we possibly can to try and get ourselves going.
Does all of this come back to what you touched on last week in terms of the transfer window and this deadline, particularly the strict deadline that creates a false, almost a forced economy in terms of transfers?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and you know, you look at the top end of football with what the Saudi league's doing. You know, and I've read today they're talking about 118 million for Salah and 1.5 million pound a week. It's outrageous. It's absolutely gone, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm talking about how do League One clubs afford what they're doing? Where's this money coming from? Have they just got a money making machine? And yeah, it does make it really difficult. It's difficult for Carlisle United anyway because we're working on a tight budget, and I knew that when I came in League Two we were working on a tight budget, and we pulled up trees and we achieved something that we didn't actually think we were going to, and we're delighted to be where we are. Now we've got another challenge. We've got an even bigger challenge. You know, we inquired about a player just recently, and we were told by his agent he had 3 other League One clubs who were prepared to offer him double what we're talking about as a maximum wage here, because of the budget that we can afford, because of the financial fair play, the rules that are set in place. I don't know how they can do it, so we're fighting against that. We're fighting to try and compete in it, and I will say it again, it isn't easy, it isn't going to happen overnight, and we've just got to keep working as hard as we have been and hope that something just drops for us in terms of whether it's another player, whether it's a little bit of luck on the grass, whatever it might be. We're going to need to keep working to try and achieve that.
We've been here in the past where we've watched players who've been targets spend the rest of the season not playing football because they've chosen not to come out on loan or whatever. Could we be in that frustrating situation again?
Oh, without a doubt we could, yeah. We may even be in that frustrating position with players who we've got in our club who don't want to go out on loan, you know, and they might not play a game. I'm a big believer that as a footballer, you play football, you play games. That's the way I see it. And I had to make decisions through my career where I wasn't playing at one level and somebody from the next level down wanted to take me, and I made that decision to go because I'm a big believer that you have to play football if you want to be a proper footballer. That's changed now. It's not the same. So that could happen. I can't influence that. I can't do anything about it. So I've got to keep working with the players that we've got until something changes. And I'm really happy with the players that we've got are working. They're coming in, they're doing their job as we would expect them to do. I'm watching them on a match day and they're putting everything into it. They're trying. They are definitely trying their best. They're trying to achieve something. Sadly, it just hasn't happened so far for us in terms of winning games. But they're really fine margins. Last week was a fine margin where we get punished for an error. Oxford United away is a fine margin, and we're doing lots of good things. It's the one bit that we all get judged on. Oh, sorry, the two 18-yard boxes you get judged on it, and we've let ourselves down at the times in both boxes, and that's why we're sitting where we are.
We've got one which we're not allowed to mention on behalf of the club who's taking him going north of the border tomorrow. Any more players that you'd look to get out on loan at the moment?
Well, I've had inquiries for 1 or 2 players, but until we can get the right ones in and until the players agree that they want to go, there's no change, so there's no point in me talking about it. You know, we've got a group of players here that I do think that we need to keep changing and keep trying to improve, because we've learnt over this first month of August that we do need improvements to the group, and I've got things in mind that I'd like to do, but they can only happen if we get players to move out, because it's not a case of just collecting a group of players. We need players who are not going to be having, we're not going to be having 7, 8, 9 players sat in the stand. I need to make it really competitive, and if nothing moves out, then the chances are there'll be nothing moving in.
Is this August period in particular unsettling for the players in terms of not knowing what the squad, when's the squad going to settle?
I'm not picking that up, if I'm honest. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a group of players who keep coming in and trying to do things properly and work hard, which again, I'll say it, I expect that to be. They're professionals, I expect it to be that. So you know, as long as they keep doing that, there's no issue from me. And we've just got to keep talking. We've got to keep encouraging them, keep working with them, try and pick the right group for Saturday. That's me pick the right group, because everybody has an opinion, but I've got to do what I think's right. When we lose, everybody questions it after the game. I've got to pick it before the game and hope that I can get it right.
Last one on this transfer window, like you said last week, you'll go all the way to the wire if you need to, and clearly you're prepared to do that.
Yeah, if we have to. I don't like doing it. This will probably be the first time in my management career that we have gone this close, because I do like to get it done and dusted. But this has been, I've got to say, this has been the most challenging transfer window I've ever been involved in. I don't know whether it's because we've gone up a level and we were weeks behind everybody because of the playoffs. I don't know whether that's an issue, or I don't know whether it's the finances. I really don't know what it is. The market is a really difficult one at the moment, especially for the particular role that we're looking for. But who knows? Something might drop, and I might sit really happy on Friday night. I hope it's not at 11:05. I hope it's earlier than that. But let's wait and see. All I can do is assure the supporters that we are doing everything we possibly can, and I'll do it till the last moment that we're able to.
Reserve game on Tuesday, effectively the one we had the Tuesday before. The team who played us, Blackburn, played against Harrogate really effectively last night. Wigan again, another really strong team, 2 really good games.
Yeah, there were excuse me, really good games, but again, I think it shows the difference. It shows the difference of where Wigan Athletic are as a group. You know, they're lads who are not in the team. They were stronger than us. They were. And I thought ours were better this week than they were the previous week. But that's the level that we've got to get to. The level in terms of our players who are not starting. The level of our scholars who are coming on. They were another level to us. And that's what we've got to try and achieve. So that's the challenge we're in. That's the situation we're in. It's not one we're going to shirk. It's not one we're going to go and hide away from. But we've got to keep working as a football club to try and get to those levels.
And you want those players and the lads who are already in the first team at the moment to be telling you, I'm ready, I want to do this.
Yeah, of course we do. And I've got to say, after the Blackburn game, there wasn't many who did that. After the Wigan game, there was a couple who have jumped out. And maybe I might have to just freshen things up in terms of who's on the bench this weekend. Because there's players who have been pushing since pre-season, not had an opportunity. So it might be a case that I might need to freshen up and give them a little boost by getting them involved, and that's something I've got to decide between now and Saturday.
Ben gave us all a scare. He went down on his haunches at one point and he was taken off as a precaution. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's trained today. He just felt as though his ankle was stiffening up, and with him having the issue last season, we just weren't prepared to take any risks. You know, as much as we want to win those games and we want players to get 90 minutes, we're not prepared to take a risk. Same with Dylan. Dylan came off after 70 odd minutes, which was really always the plan. But they're fine. They've both trained this morning. Jack Robinson got smashed in a really bad tackle. I mean, I thought it could have been a red card, the first tackle on him, and then he got kicked over the touchline into the crowd as well on the second challenge. So he's okay as well. So everybody came through it unscathed, and they're all fit to be available this weekend.
That's nice, isn't it, the injury-free side of it, so that you can just look at them all, assess them all, and go with what you think's going to be best.
Yeah, that's what we want. You know, we had a horrendous run last season in terms of injuries, probably a freaky run with it. That you can't really legislate for. This season we've been lucky so far, and I'm going to touch wood on this one because I hope it carries on. Who knows when it's going to come, but that's why we need a group of players, and they've all got to make sure they do things properly in terms of training, in terms of living their life, in terms of when they get matches, they've got to be right, because when their opportunity comes, they have to be able to take it. You know, and you know, we're in a situation where we are trying to find the right permutation for a team that's going to get a result. So everybody comes into the thinking, and they've got to be ready when that chance comes. And
that goalkeeper situation, like you said, everybody's got an opinion. That got everybody talking last weekend. It must be another conundrum for you this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, barring at the goal, I thought Yockel did very well. So I'm not going to sit on the fence here. Yockel's playing this Saturday. It's as simple as that. So I think he deserves a chance. I felt it was the time to change it. I'm not suddenly going to change my mind after 90 minutes. He deserves to play, and we've got 2 days before Saturday. If he's fit, Yockel will play on Saturday.
The nature of post-match interviews, both me and you, we were angry, agitated about the situation. Has everybody reacted to what was a real disappointment last week?
Well, I think everybody's picked themselves up from it. I said what I needed to say after the game to the players. I said what I wanted to say on Saturday for anybody who cares to listen to. We had a discussion on Monday with the players. Normally my meetings are 10-15 minutes. This went on for about an hour and 20, where I asked them to speak. I said my piece. Other staff had their opinions. I asked them for their opinion, and they're all of the view that we are not far away. But being not far away can seem a long way away as well, and that's what we've got to try and we've got to reduce that gap. We've got to minimise our mistakes. We've got to maybe work even harder. And when I talk about working even harder, I mean in terms of training, I mean in terms of how they live their lives, their levels of professionalism. It's all of those things. We have to be as good as we can. I said it before, I said at the start, we're trying to compete at the next level and we're not quite there yet. That's the brutal truth of it, and we've got to do everything we can to get there.
Absolute fact that the whole landscape changes if we get that first win.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it gives us the 3 points for a start. It gets the not winning monkey off your back, and we've just got to keep going. It's not going to be easy. No game's going to be easy. Shrewsbury Town will come here this weekend. They've had a decent start to the season with 9 points. They're a seasoned League One side. There's a few players who are ex-Carlisle players coming back to the club. I hope it's horrible for them, and we've got to make sure that we make it horrible.
And Matt Taylor has done a lot of business in the summer, hasn't he? Having been appointed at the back end of the season there, so he'll be looking for his team to kick on.
Yeah, of course he will. Yeah, they're he's got quite a simple style about the way they play. There's nothing fancy about them, but they're really, really effective. And it's the next game for us that we've got to try and rise to that challenge.
And you've mentioned it, Morgan Feeney coming back. I'm sure the fans will give him the type of reception that fans give to former players.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't really care about Morgan Feeney at the moment. He's not our problem. We've got to make sure that we get our performance right. I hope at the end of the game we've been successful and the fans can applaud him then, but I don't want anybody getting a good welcome. Simple as that. I want our fans to come in, and as I said earlier, it's easy to stick together when you're winning games. This is our plea to you. Come and stick with us now. Come and stick with us when times are troubled, when we're having a tough time. Come and get with us. Come and get behind us. Come and support us on Saturday. Hope the players respond, and then if it's Morgan Feeney or Ryan Bowman they want to applaud at the end of the game, by all means do it. But let's support us first.
Different style of play to Port Vale. They're a team that can play a bit of football as well. Yeah,
I think they're quite similar really. They don't take many risks. They're quite quite high energetic side. They want to press high and win the ball back as early as they possibly can. They've got players who are a threat in their the strikers. So it's going to be a tough League One game. And I've said this, I think, 5 times already. They're all going to be tough League One games. So let's get our sleeves rolled up. Let's hope we can enjoy the day and do everything we can to get a result.
You mentioned them stick together words already earlier in the interview. That's what we want, fans collectively. Let's just get together and keep doing this.
Yeah, well, they have done. They have done so far. But I know that I don't do social media, but people tell me about it, and I know there's rumblings going on. There's a little bit of discontent. There's a little bit of sort of, I don't know what the words are, disillusioned and all this sort of stuff. Look, we've worked really hard to get here. Let's stick together. Let's stay with it, and let's hope that the players have got something in them to go out and get a performance that gets us a result.
That's a message for everybody, isn't it? It's easy to panic. It's with these moments you have to stay calm and stay focused.
Yeah, of course you do. We've got 41 games left. It's we've got a lot of football to still be played, and we know that there's been times in the games we've let ourselves down with individual mistakes, with not finishing things off when we're creating opportunities. But we can't let that get to us, because the next game's now the most important one, and it's the one that we can do something about. So let's get our heads cleared, minds on what we need to do, and look forward to a brilliant day.